Jai Hind, my name is Mukulit Goel and I am Assistant Professor in Department of MCA. Today I am going to present a topic on Introduction of Data Analytics from the subject Data Analytics for MCA second year. First, the content of my presentation is what is data analytics, what are the types and classification of data, process of data analytics and life cycle of data analytics. First, I will talk about what is data. What is the definition of data? Data is a collection of information gathered by observation, measurement and research or analysis. What is observation? Observation means whatever you have observed from any information. Measurement we measure in terms of statistics. Research, if we want to work more on that data or we want to proceed in that data. And analysis is what we will get from that research. So what is data analysis? Data analysis is a process of cleaning, changing and process raw data and extracting actionable relevant information that helps the business make informed decision. Basically, raw data. If you can see any image or any data which is not in a proper format, then that is a raw data. So changing of raw data into the data in which we get some information or we gain some knowledge from that raw data, that is the whole process of data analytics. From that we extract the relevant information and try to increase our business. Like for example, online shopping. The websites through which online shopping has been done, they analyze that the maximum use of products is between the time of 6 to 8. So what they analyze is when the person is going from their office through a public consuming like metro and something, then at that time they serve that website and order at that maximum they order at that time. So the company will provide maximum offers at that time. Okay. So it is a process of analyzing the past or future and making a decision based on that analysis, which I have said in online shopping the companies have display most offers at between 6 to 8 or at the time of the sleep 11 to 12. Next. The actual data is further then divided into two parts, which is primary data and secondary data. What is primary data? Primary data is what we get from surveys, interviews, questionnaires, and secondary data is divided further into two parts, which is internal data and external data. Internal data, which is of organization, like the data of Akgec, the number of faculty members, the name of the faculty members is the internal data which belongs only to a single organization. External data is government agencies, like our Aadhaar card. It is under some government agency. So what is primary data? Primary data is a raw, original and extracted directly from the official sources known as primary data. From this primary data, how we get the information? We get the information through the various techniques such as questionnaires, interviews and surveys, and it is being collected on demand. Likewise, for example, some person is doing PhD on some public domain. Then how they will collect the data? They will provide some questionnaire on which the public will fill that data. The pupil will fill that data, and from that data they will extract the required information. Primary data is the techniques of primary data is RBD, which is randomized block design, is an experimental design in which experiment is divided into small units called block. Next is Latin square design, is an experimental design that is similar to randomized block design but not contain rows and columns. Third is factorial design, which is an experimental design which experiments two factors each with possible values and on performing trial other combination drive. Next part of data is secondary data. Secondary data is the data which has already been collected and reused again for some valid purpose. This type of data is previously recorded from primary data and has a source name from internal or external. Like internal source, which I have told, like the data which is in the organization like Akgec Market Engineering College. This type of data can easily be found with the organizations such as market record, sales record, customer data or employee data. Okay, external data is the data that which cannot be found at internal organization but gained through some external third party resources. In external source, the cost and time consumption is more, that it contains a huge amount of data. Okay. The other sources are sensors data, like we have devices used in IoT devices, satellite data through which we use for GPS right now, web traffic. Due to the fast and cheap internet facility, many formats of data which is uploaded by user on different platforms can be predicted and collected with their permission for data analysis. Like I have told, around 6 to 8 p.m. companies analyze through their web traffic that the most of the people use online shopping on that time. Now the type of data is structured, semi-structured and unstructured. So what is the structured data? Structured data is that data whose elements are addressable or that maybe are in the form of table, like we have shown in the database. So that data is known as structured data. It has been organized into a format repository that is typically a database, and it concerns all data which can be stored in database in the form of rows and columns. They have the relational keys like employee ID, employee name, employee phone number that belongs to a same employee. So that is the structured data. Second is semi-structured data. It is the information that does not reside in a relational database but has some organizational properties that make it easier to analyze, like the data which we stored in XML. Third is unstructured data. Unstructured data is the data which is not organized in any predefined manner or does not have a predefined data model, like Microsoft Word. A data in a Microsoft Word may be in many formats. Okay. So for unstructured data, there are alternative platforms for storing and managing, and it is increasingly prevalent in systems and used for organization in a variety of business intelligence and analytical applications, like the data we stored in Microsoft Excel. In Microsoft Excel, or in Microsoft Word, or in a text file, or any media log like images or video logs, that is the form of unstructured data, in which there are different formats in which we save the data, and there is not a predefined data model like database in the way in which data is stored. Next is, what is the data analytical process? So data analytical process starts from identity. First we require our gathering, then we collect the information according to that. Then after collecting all the information related to our requirement, after collecting we clean that data, and after cleaning that data we analyze the result, and after getting the result we interpret what we get from that data. So first, identity, or we can say a data requirement gathering. Data requirement gathering is what we want to do in future with that data. So what type of data analysis we want, how we will plan for that analysis, and what we are doing with that analysis. What requirement gathering, or we can say identity of the data. Next, data collection. Data collection is guided by the requirement. Like we want to survey on the people of Ghaziabad. Then we will collect the data according to our requirement, that we want to collect the data of the people of living in Ghaziabad. We will not collect the data which is of people which is living in Gautam Budh Nagar or somewhere else, because that is no use for as per our requirement. So data collection is guided by requirement, and in data collection we collect the data from our sources. Next is data cleaning. Data cleaning is if we collect a data, then we remove any duplicate data, or if we have any white spaces, or if we got some error in data, like we collecting a data but in some fields for some people we don't have phone number. So if that is required for our process and we don't have a phone number, then it is a basic error in our data collection. So we clean the data which does not have which is not in the proper format. Next is data analysis. Here in this step we use our data analysis software and tools that help to interpret and understand the data, or through which we can reach to some conclusion. After analysis, then we interpret that data, means we are converting that data into some proper finding or result. Now that your result, you need to interpret and come up with the best course of action based on your finding. Okay. Next is data visualization. How we want to visualize are the result of the whole process. We want to visualize it as a graph. We want to visualize it as a relational data or some result that we use for regression or something else. Or we can collect the data in that any readable forms. So that is the data visualization. Next are the life cycle phases of data analytics. What is life cycle phases? There are 6 life cycle phases of data analytics, that in which we start with discovery, then data preparation, then model planning, then model building, communication result, and operationalize. This is the whole life cycle of data analytics. First, we start with discovery. What is basically a discovery in data analytics? Discovery is the team of data science will learn and investigate the problem. Like I said, we want to collect a data of people living in Ghaziabad, but why? Why we need that? Why we require that? Like we want to do a survey on some, that how many adults are living in Ghaziabad, how many are people who are below 18 years, and how many are above 65. So this is our requirement, and we need to identify this problem, and then we collect the data according to that. Okay. So in discovery, the data science team learn and investigate the problem. First, they develop the context and understanding. Why we need to collect that data? What is our requirement? Second, come to know about the data sources needed and available for the project. Now, if I select to collect the data of the people of Ghaziabad, then how will I collect it? What is the ways from I collect the data, or what are the sources? Third point, the team formulates initial hypothesis that can be later tested with data. We need some initial hypothesis that can be tested with data when we go in a further stages of data analytics. Second phase is data preparation. What is data preparation? Data preparation is the steps to explore, pre-process and condition the data prior to modeling and analysis. It requires a presence of analytical sandbox. Sandbox means a whole process in which how we have to prepare our data. For example, the example for data preparation is the tools we use commonly known as Hadoop, which we use in big data. Okay. So what we need to explore, pre-process and collection the data prior to modeling or analysis. How the analysis will be done? We prepare our data which we collected. Okay, so it requires a presence of analytical sandbox. The team execute, load and transform the data into that sandbox. The execute, load and transform is a term which commonly known in a short form as ETL, that is commonly used for data mining. Data preparation tasks are likely to be performed multiple times and not in any predefined order. In data preparation, the task is performed multiple times and there is not any predefined order in which data preparation can be done. And the tools which I already told, Hadoop, Alpine Miner, and some of the tools are Hadoop, Alpine Miner and OpenRefine. Phase 3. Phase 3 is model planning. What is model planning? Model planning is how we design our data. By using what tools we design our data, like MATLAB. Team explores data to learn about relationship between variables and subsequently select new variables and the most suitable models. In this phase, data science team develop data sets for testing, training and production purposes. What is training and testing? There is something in which we say we train the data. Matlab what? Means that we are putting our data into some knowledgeable form. Team builds and execute models based on the work done in the model planning phase. The work which has been done in the model planning, on that in this phase, the team builds and execute models based on this model planning. And the tools which are commonly used is MATLAB and Statistica. Fourth is model building. After model planning, we build a model on which we develop our data sets. It is a training data. If this data set is a training data, this data set is a testing data. So what is the difference between training and testing? Training data means we train our data to work accordingly. And in testing data, we check whether our data on which we build a model, in which we will go into operation, is working according to the way in which we train our data. Okay. So this is the difference between training and testing. The team also considers whether its existing tools will suffice for running the models or if they need more robust environment for executing models. Means the team will also consider the environment in which they are going to build this model, whether they need to change or it will work in the same environment. Next is the tools which is used are MATLAB and Statistica. And open source tools means or we can say the language, which is R and Octave and Vika. Fifth phase is communication result. After building our model, after considering what is the testing data, what is the training data, and what are the other production models, we communicate our results or visualize our results or interpret our results. After executing model, the team needs to compare outcomes of the criteria established for success and failure. Whether the data collected or interpreted will provide a successful result or a failure result. So after building the model, we check whether the data collection is successful or data interpretation is successful or it is a failure. We will going to get some result or not. Team consider how best to articulate finding and outcomes to various team members, stakeholders, and taking into account warning and assumptions. In communication results, the team will display the result in form of meeting, in form of public note, or in any some other way, and also takes some assumptions as per the requirement, if any. Next is team should identify key findings, quantify business values, and develop narrative to summarize and convey findings to stakeholders. Like I said earlier, the key findings from the whole process, starting from discovery till model building. All these phases, the result of all these phases will be narrated in this phase, in which the result will be communicated to the various persons, whether the management or whether the stakeholders or whether to some other third party also, if there is any third party. Sixth phase is operationalize. The team communicates benefits of project more broadly and set up pilot project to develop work in controlled way before broadening the work to full enterprise of users. Means in this phase we run some test modules on which we test our data, and also if that is successful, then we delivers the final reports, briefing and codes, and after optionalize our analysis is ready with the result, and after is ready with the result, and other people can also visualize that result in the whether in a form of Word document, whether in a form of graph, whether in a form of some statistical way. So in this phase, basically the team delivers final reports, briefing and codes, and in this phase team is also analyze the performance from the data, which in first state is a raw, and reaching till final state it is changed into some knowledge. With this my topic is complete. Thank you.